right, so let's talk just real briefly before I get into my segment for today. Talk a little bit about what Dennis Windsor just announced. I was sitting back there. I was asking Jeff Olson. I'm like, where does that put us as a compensation plan? And Jeff goes, I said, what's the percentage? He goes, I have no idea. All I know is it's a lot of money. And here's the deal. And I think it's important to realize this, guys. No company that I've ever heard of, and I'm sure most of you have never heard of, that's going up into the right as aggressively as we are with our numbers, with our success right out of the gate. No company then goes, hey, let's go put some more money in the compensation plan. It's usually when things are going like this, some of us have experienced that before, that they then go and try and do a bailout to get you back like this. So I want to really just applaud the home office, you know, as an ownership, just a great job. Awesome plan that we put together. So what this just simply means, it means you're going to get paid much deeper than already a deep plan in the industry. So now we truly have one of the deepest paying plans in the entire world of network marketing. So it's an awesome promotion. And some of you that aren't getting it yet, because there's a lot of details to that plan, we'll learn more and more about it. You'll get it when you get your check and you go, whoa, why did I get that much of an increase in my check? Just don't send it back, cash it, it's real money. It cashes at the bank, right? Okay, guys, well, this is a 90-minute section, so I'm just going to tell you that up front. This is the nuts and bolts. This is the system. This is what we'll put together, really, and bring the entire company together under kind of one umbrella, one system, one methodology, one way of doing business. And really, this is something that Jeff Olson is really known for, is that slight edge, that master the mundane, that doing a little bit every day, that in the act of doing it, it doesn't seem like you're getting anywhere, but it's the compounded effect with the slight edge that really gives you that boost, that really gives you that success. And some folks say that overnight success that happens little by little every single day. Unfortunately, most people only see it when it's that big. So today we're going to put together really the rhythm of the company and who we are as a company. And before we go through that rhythm and what that looks like, I think it's important to really understand why we need systems. And for those of you that have heard me speak before, I talk a lot about my military career. And the reason for that is I've really used, I would have to say that probably 80% of what I do in network marketing has come from the military. And how many people have ever served or are currently serving in the military? In the room here, give these guys a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service. So in my naval career, you know, just definitely all about leadership. I kind of transitioned over as a combat medic to the Marine Corps. I spent most of my career actually with the Marine Corps. And something, there we go. We got one Marine out there, right? It's all it takes is one, by the way. You know that, right? But one of the things about the Marine Corps, specifically out of all the branches of the services, is that systematic, lower-level leadership approach that the Marine Corps takes. And that's really been my approach in my relationship marketing career, and I really, truly believe in systems. I got it. You know, I was this kind of goofy kid, grew up in East Boston, show up in the Navy, can't walk and chew gum at the same time, you know, nervous, get off that bus, get into boot camp, have no idea how I'm going to survive. And really what it came down to was there was a system. There was a system of performance. There was a system of leadership. There was a system of achievement. And it just helped you go through. And you never felt like you didn't know where you were going because there was always another step. And it was basic. One of the things that the military has truly mastered is taking something very, very complex and very, very complicated and taking it down to bite-sized pieces. That's what they're known for. So what we've done here is we've taken that type of an approach to everything we do to build our Nerium business. So let's talk about why we need a system. First thing is, nothing big ever gets built without a system. There's nothing you can look at. No church, no organization, no government program, no nothing. I mean, if you just look at what is big in life, you know, any type of an organization, you can go evaluate research organizations or great empires. You know, one of my, I think one of the only classes I did well with in college was Western civilization. Really studied Western civilization, really got into it, the Roman Empire, and I really just dove into that. And you just go back that far, you'll see there was a system in place that created these great worldwide organizations and these empires. So nothing big ever gets built without having that system in place. And here's the reason why. Systems provide leverage and duplication. And the duplication factor is key in network marketing. You've got to get that duplication. And probably one of the hardest things to overcome in relationship marketing is the fact that you have to duplicate. So how many people in here, by a show of hands, are professional sales folks? You've been in sales, you're currently in sales. So there's a lot of you. Okay, great. So you really got to pay attention to this part, okay? Sometimes what happens is you get this sales pro that shows up. They've got every award that their company gives out. They're the salesperson of the year, and they come here, and they don't have that quick success that they're expecting. How many people have seen that in your organization? We have someone that, man, I've been this salesperson, I've got this award, I got this trophy, I've got the gold medal of sales, I'm going to come in here and tear this thing up. One of the things about sales is it doesn't matter if you personally duplicate because you are the salesperson. So basically, the end user is there, and you're selling them a product or a service. And in traditional business, probably another great example of sales where you pretty much, your business is going to grow as much as you can grow it. Personally, okay? If it is to be, it's up to me kind of mentality. Well, in this industry, it's about getting out of the way, disconnecting from that process of you always being there, and getting a system in place that's going to allow you to duplicate when you're not there. Relationship marketing is how fast can you get in, get it big, get it growing away from you, getting it duplicating away from you so that it can sustain itself when you're not there. Why is that? Why would you want it to sustain itself when you weren't there? Why did we join relationship marketing? Let me kind of quiz the crowd here. These lights are bright. I can only see the front row. How many people joined Nerium to have a second job? Okay, great. Just making sure. We joined Nerium International for the fun, the financial future, the personal enrichment journey, but the leverage. See, lifestyle is not about money. It's about having enough money to live the life that you want to have, but having the time to be able to spend that money. That's what lifestyle is about, right? So with lifestyle, you have to create lifestyle in this industry, you have to have a system that allows you to duplicate. Let me give you some reasons on why you want to have that in place, okay? First of all, when you want to recharge your batteries, okay, and that's not on your iPad or your iPhone or anything like that, but your batteries. Guess what? I'll be a little transparent here. It's funny, sometimes people ask me, man, you're always fired up, you're always going, you're always going. Well, you only see me most of the time at an event, okay? So Mark Smith does have a recharge meter, okay? It's probably a little bit different than the average person. I run on high octane, right? About 10 cups of black Navy coffee every single day. It keeps me going. But I have that burnout. Everybody gets burnout. Everybody has that, oh my goodness, I just need to take a break. And you have to, in order to take a break and recharge your batteries, you have to have been a product of the system. You have to have an organization that has a culture that's built within a system that doesn't require you to be there 110% of the time. So if you ever want to recharge your batteries and you're not in a system, as soon as you take a break to recharge your batteries, the volume goes like this. So if you're experiencing anything like that, I don't think that's happening right now in the company, but if you are, one of those select few out there that, you took a break for a week, or maybe you went on a vacation or a family wedding or something like that, and the volume tipped a little bit, you might want to evaluate that maybe you were not as in the system as you might have thought you were, because the system, the company system, that company rhythm should have carried forward that volume even when you had to step out for a few days or a week or so. So recharging your batteries. Another great example is, anyone in here want to take a vacation? Okay, just checking. So if you ever wanted to, and I'm talking about a real vacation, not one of these, corporate America vacations where we go home and we just catch up on laundry and rake leaves and take out the trash, right? That's what most of us are used to, right? Take the vacation so we can catch up on life, not actually take a vacation to go to a tropical island somewhere. If you ever wanted to take a real vacation is when you buy a one-way ticket, and people say, well, when are you coming back? I say, I have no idea. Tammy and I recently did that last year. Actually, it was this time last year. We bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii, and we tend to continue. Well, we're just saving money now. We tend to go to Hawaii for a week and extend for another week and extend for another week. We finally got smart enough to say, you know what? We know we're going to extend, so let's get that one-way ticket. And we bought a one-way ticket. It was one of our goals. One of our dreams was to think. It's not about going to Hawaii. It could be anywhere, okay? Although Hawaii is a pretty cool spot. But it's really about going anywhere, wherever your destination is. It's not my destination, wherever your destination is. But it's about the freedom. Guys, do you have any idea what it feels like? It's not about money. Money's required to have this freedom. But you have any idea what it's like to pack up your family, pack up your kids, take as many luggage bags as they'll let you get on the plane, and get that one-way ticket? Do you have any idea of the stress-free lifestyle that can create for you? Just hopping on a plane, not knowing when you're coming back. Relatives saying, when you coming back? You say, I have no idea. And for Tammy and I, that transitioned into 6 weeks in Hawaii. We just said, well, airfare's a little expensive this week. Let's see what it's going to be a little cheaper next week. I think that was Tammy's way of extending. But I mean, week after week after week after week, 6 weeks. I mean, it was unbelievable. That was by far the most amazing experience of my life last year. I mean, we went fishing, we went camping, we did every single thing you could possibly imagine in Hawaii. Actually, Danny Gassamy had come out and spent some time with us, and that was cool because Danny went fishing actually with Taulia's family, and they slept on the beach, and he didn't have a pillow, a side story here, and he slept on a flashlight. And I decided not to sleep on the beach. My house is right across from the beach, so I decided to go just be in the comfy bed. Did all that in the Marine Corps. You can go camp, man. I've done that for 10 years, right? Well, the reason I knew he slept on a flashlight, he showed up at my house the next day, and he had a perfect flashlight in his head, in his face. It's the funniest thing in the world. But we had a blast. It was, it's 7 o'clock at night. We're all hanging out with the kids, with the family. Danny's like, let's go fishing. Let's go sleep on the beach. We pack everybody up. We walk across the street. We go on the beach. We had a little campfire going. My kids are just, that's what it's about. That's why we're here. It's to have that freedom and that lifestyle. But none of us can have that if we don't have a system. None of us can sustain that unless we support each other within that system. So that when I'm away for 6 weeks, things continue to go. When you're away for 6 weeks, things continue to go. I'm on a call. You're on a call. This front row right here, the national marketing directors, they're the system. They're the system. You don't have to be the expert. All you got to do is point. All you got to do is get them on a phone, get them on a website, get them in an event like this, and it continues to allow your business to flourish even when you're not present. So you got to have a system in place in order to have that lifestyle. Here's another great example. If crisis occurs, the system is there. If crisis occurs, you think anyone ever have any crisis in their life? A bunch of liars out there in the audience, right? Okay, look, let's just face it, guys. The stage, the lights, the suits, and the ball gowns and everything, the glam, it's all great. Guess what? We're all regular people. Okay, we all get in traffic on the 405 freeway. Sometimes we have someone tell us we're number one with the wrong finger. We still get flat tires. We all have children, right? Kids still get sick. There's still things that happen in the family. Sometimes you have a death in the family. All these different things that can happen. It's called life. Well, life gets in the way all the time. It's never going to get out of your way. But when you have a system, when crisis happens, that's the most important time to have built a business within in a culture of having that rhythm, having that system. I refer back to my military career with the system. That's why the military has a system. Pretty much I don't think there's much of anything you could throw at Tammy and I that we couldn't handle on the spot. I see Brad. I'm just picking on you right there, buddy. We got a lot of career folks in there. I could throw anything at Brad, for sure, and you can handle it in a moment's notice. Why? Because he's system-oriented. It's just, bam, it doesn't get in the way. It's funny, in the military, you're either, deployed, and maybe it's a combat situation, or maybe there's a war somewhere. There's many of those these days. But when you're not deployed, guess what you're doing? You're practicing the system. You're training. Why? It's called muscle memory. So that when it does happen, it's muscle memory. It no longer needs to be thought. The thought process was handled many years ago. You don't have to think about it. It just naturally happens. So crisis management is everything. David Bird trains a lot on crisis management. And, maybe it's not a over-the-top crisis that happens in your life, but little things can get in the way. When the system's there, and I can tell you one thing that's very stressful is when you have a crisis situation in your life, in your family, or in your community, and you're not part of a system, it makes it 10 times worse because you're scurrying around. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? If you have a system, you go, okay, we have a crisis. There's a system in place. I'm going to leave it to the system. There's plenty of other national marketing directors that are get my back, get my side, be my wingman, be my wingwoman. That's one of the things I love about the military. It wasn't that I joined the military and I was this successful person. And man, I joined, I'm like, man, I am successful in the military. I'm going to go right to the top. No, I was the guy that barely made it through high school. I was the guy that, barely made it through college. My dad's 6'6", 280 pounds. One day he sat me down and he goes, Mark, I've got an idea for you. He says, you can join the Navy or you can join the Navy. Dad, you know what? I think it's a great idea. I think I'm going to go ahead and join the Navy, okay? So I understand what it's about. The system is there for a reason, and it just can really make your life a lot easier. To build a great company, it requires that duplication, that system, that cohesion. So what I loved about the military the most was I didn't have to be the expert. The most. I didn't have to be good 110% all the time because I had just tons of people around me that would get me when I fell. And I'm a Navy corpsman. That's what it's all about. You take that oath no matter what. Someone falls around you, you pick them up, you keep on going. Well, that's what I loved about relationship marketing. When Tammy and I first got introduced, we fell in love with it because we realized, you know what? This is the part of the military that we didn't want to lose. Look, we wanted to lose the paycheck because that was kind of crummy. But we didn't want to lose that family, that cohesion, that esprit de corps, that mission-driven, that purpose-driven, atmosphere. I mean, it's just what we thrived in. I think that's why a lot of people stay in the military. I promise you, no one's staying in the military for their $30,000 check to get shot at in a sandbox overseas and not see their kids. That's not why they're there. They're there because they're mission-driven. They've got a cause. They love it. They love serving their country, and they love that camaraderie. And that's what today's about. That's what my talk's about. My talk's about camaraderie, cohesion, and teamwork, okay? So let's get into the first part of the system, okay? We're going to talk about the real results rhythm in a second. But the first part of the system, to go back to that military training, is everyone getting started on the same page. See, if everyone's getting started on a different page, when you come together, it's just a nightmare, okay? And Jeff's been talking about that as he flies around the country, bumping into people. How did you get started? Oh, this is how I got started. Then he asks someone else, well, how did you get started? He goes to a different side of the country, goes to the East Coast. Well, how did you get started? Everybody has a different methodology. If we just get that one thing, that one element where we all get started on the same page, it's game over. There's no one that can even compete with where we're going to go as a company when you get on that same page and you get in that rhythm, because everyone has a fair shot. Now, what they do with it from that point is on them, but everyone getting that fair shot and giving them those elements. So what we've done is we've launched a new brand partner training. We have a lot of acronyms, so all the military folks are going to love this training because military is all about acronyms. So NBT is new brand partner training. You're going to see that acronym a lot. So new brand partner training, what we're going to ask you to do is just this one thing, this one discipline that could change your business, could explode your business, is spending the time directing every new brand partner on your team to go through the company's new brand partner training. Just get on that page. Every single person in the company getting started the same way. Can you imagine what that would be? It's called marching to the beat of one drum. That's what it's about. So let's talk about the new system, the new brand partner training. Okay? Here's how it breaks down. It's a system where we've come up with some different formulas that will make sense. Launch plus connect equals success. I want to ask that you write that in your notes today. This is something that will probably become the lifeblood of every new brand partner in the company. Launch plus connect equals success. We've broken the new brand partner training down into two sections. Can you guess what they are? The launch section and the connect section. See, we got a smart crowd here today, right? Even Mark can get this right. So, and by the way, guys, I have ADD, Navy, run 100 miles an hour. That's why Craig and I, we sync, right? We're syncing right now. He's loving this, right? He's like, that's all I needed. Launch plus connect equals success. I got it, right? So for all you non-ADDs, how many people got the ADD going on, right? Yeah, we seem to attract the ADD in relationship marketing, so there are some strings to it. But it's breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, just simple little roadmaps to get you through your day. Folks with ADD, we have to do that. We have to have these little things, these little notes, and these little methodologies to kind of, get us through. We can manage 10, 20 things at once because of this. So this is a way that you can truly manage an organization. So launch training, obviously launching your new brand partner, and how they go out there, how do they generate their first couple of sales, how they get their first couple of checks, and connecting them to the system that's going to give them that success. So let's go into launch. And let me, no one has seen this yet, so let me explain what this is. When you go to the new brand partner training, which is in the same spot it's always been on the corporate site, this is what it's going to look like. And what launch is it's a new video. And that video is kind of an interactive video. We went in studio, we recorded this video, and during this video, I'll say things like, you can pause the video now and download the launch document. You can pause the video now and we're going to talk about your list. You can pause the video now if you need to go get a glass of water, okay? So it's just all put together very, very well. And all the corresponding documents that you need are all right there on the website. So as you go through the launch process, this is version 1. We'll have several versions that are going to come out, and it's going to be automated. We're eventually going to get to a point where we're going to be able to track who went to the training, how long they were on the training, what modules they went through in the training. It's going to be really awesome. Imagine this in the future when we get to these other versions. Can you imagine, especially the NMDs, pulling a report by leg in your organization, be able to say, what percentage of my new people are going through Launch Plus Connect? What percentage are completing it? What percentage are doing the activities and the homework assignments that are in there? So it's kind of a checklist format. Right now, you'll manually check it off as you go through. Eventually, it will be automated, and eventually, it will be synced to your brand partner ID. So it's really, really well put together. So that's launch, okay? Now, launch is going to be all the things you would expect. Product prospecting system, real results parties, establishing their why and some of their goals, establishing their list. I even talk about the list a little bit on, with the memory jogger type approach. Everything they need to know about launching their business. And here's the other reason why we all want to send all of our brand partners through that system. It allows the company to edify what you're already telling people. See, I would say that I would say we're doing a pretty good job at telling a new brand partner where to go, what to do, and some of the the positive traits that they need to kind of acquire to be successful here. But if you're doing it alone, it's just you. When they're hearing it from the company and they're getting on the corporate site and they're hearing it from us and they're hearing it from the NMDs, they're hearing it from everybody, they go, oh, you know what? I think I need to do what they told me to do. It's crazy. That's what third party is about, especially if it's a close friend that you brought in the business, a family member, or someone that you've been around a long time. They know you for what you do now in your life. They don't know you for being an expert in Nerium International. They know you for what you do in your occupation. So when you say, hey, I'm going to show you how to make $1 million. That was me, Navy guy, broke, 40 grand in credit card debt. Man, I'm going to show you. We're going to take over the world. We're going to make tons of money. You know what my friend said to me? Like, hey, man, you got that $500 you owe me? That's what my friend said to me, right? I remember I called my dad. He goes, so that mean you're going to be able to pay your own rent? Yes, Dad, it is. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But what that does is it gives you that validation. It gives you that third party that can really, truly help you in what you already know. So it's not that we don't know this information. All of us are doing this. But it's just getting that teamwork, that cohesion of getting the backup. Hey, look, that's what Jeff Olson's saying. Hey, look, that's what all the national marketing directors do. Hey, look, that's what the company's promoting. And what that does is it ensures that those new brand partners will go, you know what? That must be the system. If all these folks are having success and all these folks are operating within the system, then I must need to operate within the system. So it's going to help you have it's going to help you prevent what we call fracture. In relationship marketing, fracture is the most dangerous thing that can start in your organization. Fracture is when you start to break away from the system, and what ends up happening, it's kind of funny, at first it kind of works, because you get individualization and you kind of get that hands-on approach, and you kind of start kind of go down your own path. I've done this 11 years, I've done it over and over and over, and at first you're like, yeah man, I proved them wrong, man, I got my own system, I'm doing my own thing, and what happens is your team sees and they go, well, wait a minute, the company says to do this, but my leader's doing this, so that must mean that I can do my own thing too. And then they fracture and they create their own system. And it just keeps going, and it drills down through an organization. I see Leslie shaking her head. Man, I got to tell you what, this is something that's been pounded in some of us that have worked with Jeff for a long time. This is what makes Jeff Olson. It absolutely is. It drives people crazy. I've been around Jeff long enough to hear those sideline conversations like, Mr. Olson, what do you really do? Mr. Olson, what books do you really read? Mr. Olson, what's really the system? I mean, it can't be the thing you just put up on stage and spend all that time on. What's the secret notes? It drives people nuts. And when Jeff goes, I do my 2 a day, I use 3-way calls, I go to some presentations, I listen to the calls, I read my 10 pages of book. It drives people nuts. It really does. And it drove me nuts. My first year in relationship marketing, failed miserably. Took Tammy and I 90 days to make our first sale. I kept going. I'd go to my meeting. I'd come home all fired up. We're broke. I mean, broke. Well, here's when you're broke. When you open your fridge and there's nothing in there but a box of baking soda, I don't know what it's keeping fresh. There's no food in there whatsoever. It's kind of funny to laugh about it now, crying about them. I remember Danny Gassman came to my house in Maryland one time. He opened the fridge. He goes, there's nothing in here. I go, man, it's a new fridge. Right? And Danny goes, they haven't made that fridge in like 25 years, man. You're broke. I'm like, yeah, I'm broke. And so he hooked me up. He paid my phone bill once, too. I appreciate that. I think I still owe you about $700 for that. So can we call it even? All right, good stuff. True story. My business was about to be shut down because my phone was finally not going to work anymore. And Danny bailed me out way back in the day about 11 years ago. So the system is the system is the system. You've got to get it right, okay, guys? So it's just being on the same page, making it happen. Those master the mundane, those little things along the way make a huge, huge difference. When you have a team of 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or a dozen people, you can pretty much individually do everything with them. But I think that's probably the line right there. As soon as it duplicates, beyond that, you're just spinning plates and spinning plates and spinning plates. And how many plates can you spin at once? You can only spin so many. So what ends up happening is plates start to drop and crash to the ground around you, and it becomes hard. And one of the things that I notice in this industry is someone's not having fun. If they're not having fun in this industry, it's probably because they don't have a system. Because they're working their tail off behind the scenes trying to be the system all on their own. And it's really, really a lonely place to be. And I've been there, okay? So I'm using myself. I'm being very transparent. I failed my way to the top. Tammy and I, we struggled and struggled and struggled with this because we wanted to reinvent the wheel. I mean, hey, look, successful Navy guy, 40 grand in credit card debt. I'll show these guys how to make money. I look back on that 11 years ago, and I can't even believe I thought like that. I didn't know Jeff Olson that well at that point. You know, he was a stage figure to me at that point, sitting there taking notes. And, you know, I'm trying to re-engineer this guy's training, who's a master, who's a legend in the industry, right? He's hit 4 home runs. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, this guy Jeff's pretty cool, but, man, I can't wait to teach him what I'm going to do in my business, right? Broke, not affording our rent, no food in the fridge, baking soda. And I'm going to teach Jeff Olson how to make it, right? There's probably some people in here that right now that hurt, right? Oh, by the way, here's my disclaimer. If I say anything that that bothers you, it's probably meant for you, okay? So I just might not know your name, okay? Might not know your name, but that's the pain and success of coming to the convention. You get to talk to a whole group, and because I've been there, I'm sitting in the scene like, man, I cannot believe my upline told Mark Smith what I was going through. He's training it on stage. That's not the case. This is everybody's experiencing different things. So if something just hits you right off the head today, take a note on it. It wasn't personally for you, but it was at the same time. Just know that's why you're here. That is why you're here, because you're going to pull something from a presenter. You're going to pull something from one of these trainings. It might be someone's testimonial that you lock in on. You know, I ran into someone in the elevator last night. We don't need to mention names. And I walked in, and I could see that 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. I'm like, everything cool? He's like, everything's cool. You know who you are. You're in the room here today. I'm like, is everything cool? Everything's cool, man. I know the feeling, man. Just discharge it, bless and release, and let's move on. Right? Because something someone said or someone did or someone put on the screen motivated that person and touched them and engaged them. But you have to be within the system to experience that. So it's very, very important. So that's launch. Engage in income-producing activities right away. One of the things we want to help with is lots of folks are waiting for their kit to come. So they're sitting there and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. Let me just, by a show of hands, how many people in here got their first sale or their first brand partner, their first taste of that little win before their kit came? Actually, can I ask you to stand right now? Could you just stand? Can we just pan the audience real quick with some lights? So if you achieved some type of success before your kit came, look out in the audience. It's probably 50% of the people that are in the room. Okay, so this gives you an example. You guys can sit down. Thank you very much. So think about that for a second. Now, I know all the people that waited for their kit are going, man, why did I wait for my kit? So one of the things we want to do is we want to help you in the field not wait on the kit. We have the best tools, the best technology. Just take Nerium Communications, for example. Why would we need to wait on the kit to start announcing and talking and promoting our business if we can go right to Nerium Communications, start firing off videos through email, popping videos up on social media, invites to our Real Results Party? Think about it. You don't need to wait for the kit to plan a Real Results Party. Matter of fact, all of our videos are going to be in the back office site where you could pop it up, put it on a TV screen with technology these days. So it's fast start for a reason. Let me give you an example of why we're spending so much time on new brand partner training. We know in this industry that if you can get someone to fast start, okay, whatever that looks like, but that first 30-day window, we know that that person will sell 10 times the amount of product over their career and recruit 7 times the amount of brand partners over their career based on their first 30 days. Knowing that, how important do you think fast start is? It's huge. So those organizations in the room, those leaders in the room that just get that and they get right on their people, and there's some real pros at this, real pros in this front row. There's some national marketing directors in here. They've got this thing down. It's all they talk about. So if your NMD is boring you because they talk about fast start, fast start, fast start, fast start, you got to get out of the gate, you got out of the gate, guess what? That's why they had the biggest checks. That's the reason why, because they move their organization into activity right away. It's called a belief check. That belief check is the single most important check of a new brand partner's career. It doesn't need to be $10,000 first day. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, maybe some people are going to do that at some point. I mean, we have people in here that there's someone in here that made $68,000 in their first, I think, 3 months in the business. That's absurd. Okay, so this month's potentially going to put them into 6 figures in their first 4 months. Okay, Laura Knox. So, anyways, sorry, did I say that? Think about that. That's a lot of money. Why? Engaging, moving people in, getting people producing right away. That belief check is key. So not everybody's going to go. That's above average. I mean, I didn't do that. I've never done that in my career. Some people are going to do it. I don't get mad at someone else's success. I just go, wow, I need to be a little bit better. You know, I got to go a little bit quicker. Okay. So embrace other people's success. But that's above average. The average person, they're looking for $50, $100, $150 to show their spots. Go, bam! I told you. I can remember that I told you so. Remember, Tim? 90 days, coming home, fired up for my meeting. I'm like, man, we're going to do this thing. We're going to be millionaires. Man, you just call your boss. You can quit right now. Don't even finish your degree. I got this thing. Right? Bam, frying pan. No, only kidding. She didn't do that. Actually, her grandmother did one time, but we'll talk. That's another story. Okay? She's Korean. It's in the culture. They're allowed to do it. You just got to duck quick. I learned that. But I remember coming back, meeting after meeting after meeting, and Tammy going, your own mom hasn't bought one yet, Mark. You're not good at this, okay? Maybe you should stay in the Navy, okay? But we had a tough time. I mean, we just did, for whatever reason. We tried to reinvent the wheel. We didn't get it. We didn't listen to the people on stage. We created our own stuff. I had my own flyers. I hung street signs. Look, that's not a training. That's not what not to do. I had a whole crew. You remember that, Danny? And I was the street sign master. I didn't just hang paper street signs because those get torn up in the rain. And the city can come and just rip them down. I went and got corrugated plastic street signs. Then I found out the city could just pull the street sign off the telephone pole. So I went to Danny Gassman. You remember this? I go, man, what's the best nail that I can use where these guys can't take my sign down? So roofing nails with these caps. So I did that. And then the city got smart, because you know it's illegal to go just put signs all over the place. And it trashes your company, by the way. It's not how we do business, right? It's kind of tacky. But I did it. I was new. I didn't get it. You know, they told me don't hang street signs. I was like, oh, that must mean hang them. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. The city got smart. Then they would just take a razor blade and they would cut half the sign down. I was so mad, like, half my number's missing. How are people going to call me? So this is from a lot of failure, guys. Don't let us fool you. Another thing we did, okay, flyers. You know, Tammy and I were broke when we did this too. I can just remember it was like our last few $100s, and we went out and got fluorescent, you know, pink flyers and blanketed the local mall parking lot with these flyers. Man, that's it. We ran home. We had a little 800 number. We ran home. We literally, you remember this? We sat at our kitchen tables, like praying to God, like waiting for the first call. It's gonna come, and it did. Bing, 800 rings. Links it into my cell phone. I pick up the phone. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, that's it. This is the beginning of our future, right? It's the mall cops. It's the mall cops. And you need to get down here, and we're going to charge you $250 fine for every flyer we find blowing around. Because what do people do with flyers on the windshield? They go right on the ground, right? So guys, we've made every mistake you could possibly make, okay? And if you don't think your new brand partner is going to make those mistakes, think again. But here's the key. We'll tie this all together. Here's the key. If this group, this size, this polish is all on one page, doing it the same way, everywhere they go to Texas, same way. They go to California, same way. They go to Boston, same way. They go to Puerto Rico, same way. When we go global, think of how important this is when we go global to keep the system contained so it's working the same way. If everybody's saying the same thing, doesn't it make it harder for that new brand partner to fail? Doesn't it make it harder for that brand partner to go, I'm going to do flyers. I'm going to do street signs. It makes it harder if everybody's saying the same thing. So that's the purpose of new brand partner training, being in sync with the field and all of us, you know, marching to the beat of one drum. So new brand partner training, launch. Now let's talk about our next is connect. Connect is connecting them to the system. What makes Nerium great is the system. Communication is the absolute key. There's so many people that I bump into that ask questions that are answered on the Tuesday call, that are answered in the company emails, that are answered on the Team Nerium call, that are answered on Nerium University. There's so many questions that are asked just all day long. Bam, 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 bam. NMDs are getting them all day long. They're coming in, they're coming in, they're coming in. And you want to yell, but you go, I just got to grab them by the hand and direct them to the system. Because what happens is you don't have leverage anymore. If you're a leader that's sitting there getting 400 calls a day about the same stuff that Jeff Olson just promoted on the call, you don't have leverage. You haven't leveraged the system. See, it should be all these emails coming to you saying, man, that call was great. My goodness, I'm going to go implement that tactic. I'm going to get everybody on my new brand partner training, whatever the announcement was. So connection is key. So the second step of new brand partner training is connect. And there's a sheet that goes to this called the connect sheet. And that connect sheet is going to give them all the pertinent information that they need to know on where to be. What calls to be on, what corporate calls to be on, how to, the emails, the text blast, you name it, it's a part of the Connect sheet. And then there's a Connect training that syncs with that. So in that Connect training, we're talking to them, to that new brand partner, on the significance of the system. So you don't have to, you're not alone anymore. You pop them on the Connect training, and we're saying, this is why you want to be on Nerium University. This is why you never want to miss a Tuesday call. Hey, if you've got a job, we have it on replay, but this is why you want to listen to it. How many people are on the Tuesday call every week by a show of hands? Okay? That's about right, because if everybody in here raised their hand, I would definitely know we got some fibbers in the audience, because I hit the code that tells you how many people are on the company call. So if you hear those beeps, I just probably busted myself. It is nowhere near where we should be as a company on the attendance on that call. I mean, really, it's nowhere. It's not even half the room. Not even half this room is getting on that call. There's probably a quarter of this room that actually gets on the call. So just that one thing that we can really, really help with. So launch plus connect equals success. And that's going to be our mantra. That's going to be the platform. New brand partners in the right activity connected with corporate on a daily basis. This is probably the fastest moving company in this entire industry right now. There's no way to keep up with the promotions, the enhancements, the announcements. I mean, it's just every single Tuesday we're loading a whole new batch of information on the field. So being connected every single day is just huge. It's absolutely huge to your business. So success. There's another, field and corporate in sync, marching to the beat of one drum. When you take the field and you take corporate and you link it together, I think it's safe to say, Ron, you've been in the industry, hugely successful. Ron, have you ever seen a company do both? No, you've never seen the company do both. They've never gotten synced. Sometimes you have a field machine that's working well, okay, but the company's kind of over here. Or you have the company kind of has things together, but the field is over there. I've never seen it, ever, in my career. And I've only been in one other company. Some of you have been in a few. You've been around longer than I have. Where is it? It doesn't exist. That's why I believe Nerium will absolutely be that company that it's going to become the standard in relationship marketing, that you get your company and your field in sync with each other so that they're marching to the beat of one drum. I truly believe that Nerium will raise the bar and set that standard in the industry. Okay, now that we've talked about new brand partner training, we're going to send all of our new brand partners. Let's talk about our rhythm. This is going to become pretty much the foundation for the entire future of the company, is this rhythm. It truly is. This rhythm is going to be the pulse of what we do here in the United States, and it's what's going to ensure our success long term as we go global. Think about this. If we can't have a team in our own backyard that's in sync, how could we possibly have that team, build into Japan or Australia or Germany or Mexico or Canada or anywhere else in the world? If we can't get it right at Starbucks, in our local Starbucks, how do we get it right across the pond? How do we get it right across the seas? We can't. That's why we have to have a rhythm. And we couldn't launch the company with this rhythm. And really, it's genius not to launch the company with this rhythm. Jeff Olson is genius in this industry. When he took a step back and said, let this thing run, let this thing organically grow, let the NMDs make themselves known, let these folks race through the comp plan, and let's see what's working for each person. I'm going to tell you, behind the scenes, there's a group of us that get together. Okay, and it's pretty much a representation of all the different organizations that are one. Okay, so kind of the key leader, if you would. And it's not a dictatorship. Jeff's not saying this is what we need to do, and this is the rhythm, and this is how you say this, and this is how you say that. It actually came organically from the field, which is so refreshing. And to be able to be a small part of that group myself, it's really been humbling to listen to the folks that are on that mastermind, that we talk to, we kind of get that field representation and ask for feedback, and I'm learning something every day. I mean, listen guys, I'm very, very coachable. When someone says, I'll give you, here's a great example. Leslie, you might not remember this. She said, instead of saying that you're going to get that result in 5 days, you told me, you'll know if it's working. So that was a tweak I made in my pitch, and it worked. So it's all of us learning from each other. I learned things from Darren Kidd. He gave me a one-liner the other day. I'm like, stolen, I own it. If you say it 3 times, it becomes yours, okay? You don't have to give them credit anymore. So there's one credit for Leslie, one credit for Darren, right? So it really is about learning and growing. So what we're doing is we're listening to the leaders that are making it happen. Would you want us to write the playbook without watching the plays? Or would you rather us listen to the players and allow them to help us write the playbook? That is the making of a legendary company when you do that. So we're going to take you through the real results rhythm. This is that pulse. This is the system. This is kind of the tracks that we run on. And basically it entails every single moving part of this company, and every single thing you're going to see here is what the national marketing directors are doing on a daily basis. Okay? I'm going to break it down into 2 categories. There's your personal rhythm and the corporate rhythm. Personal rhythm is that space, right? It's your space. You're operating on a daily basis. You're going through your motions. What do you do when you wake up? Okay, how do you conduct yourself in your business from day to day, from week to week, from month to month, to year? It's that personal rhythm. The personal rhythm is what gets that production. The personal rhythm is that production that leads into cash flow, that leads into leverage, that leads into lifestyle. However, that personal rhythm will crumble at some point when it gets too big. When that team gets too big, you get out of rhythm. I can't do this, and I can't. How do I do this, and I can't manage that, because that personal rhythm is personal. It has to be tight in a confined space. The corporate rhythm is the overlay of systems that allow you to have a personal rhythm. Just go day to day, week to week, month to month. Have fun, have success. Team is growing. New brand partners are getting started. They're getting fast start qualified. People are earning iPads. People are earning Lexuses and racing to those Live Better bonuses. The corporate rhythm is that sync. You know, the way I look at the corporate rhythm is kind of like a McDonald's franchise. You know, McDonald's franchise, whether you like the burgers or not, if you're a vegetarian and you don't like burgers, I guarantee you if someone gave you McDonald's, you'd stand across the street and count how many cars that went through the drive-thru, right? If they have a system. They have a system that works. Why do people line up? There's probably a list of several thousand people right now lined up that have pre-qualified to be a franchise owner with McDonald's Corporation. You know what it takes to be a franchise owner with McDonald's Corporation? It takes about $1 million liquid cash to even get on the list. And there's a whole bunch of other requirements. The American dream. Own a franchise, okay? Maybe it's not as much anymore. Any franchise owners in here? That's why we're here today, right? Okay, you don't own the franchise owns you, kind of, right? So what happens is, but why do people line up to buy that McDonald's franchise? You want to know why? Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's Corporation, why people flock to that is because of the system. It's because of that manual. It's because they say, if you do this and you do that, your profit margins will look the same. Real quickly, just going to ask everybody to do this. Everybody close your eyes at the same time. Now, I can see you if you haven't closed your eyes. On the count of 3, I want everybody in the room to point at where the fry machine is at your local McDonald's. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Where's the fry machine? How come all the McDonald's are the same? You got to be kidding me. There's got to be one in here that's on the other side of the McDonald's, isn't there? Open your eyes, guys. Everybody's pointing the same direction, okay? I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Korea, I've been all over the world. They're all in the same location. Guess where the shake machine is? It's on the other side of the room. It's on the other side of the building, same place. It's the same way in every McDonald's you walk into. Why? Because if you flip your burgers when the buzzer rings, you get the certain amount of shakes of salt on your fries, your profit margins will look the same. Why does someone invest that much money in a McDonald's franchise? Because they're nearly guaranteed success. Because if you follow the McDonald's manual, they even have Hamburger University. You guys know that? They have McDonald's University. You go there and you learn the McDonald's way. Well, folks, this is our McDonald's way. This is the corporate rhythm. This is what we get. We get to get it for a lot less money, I can tell you that. It doesn't cost millions of dollars, but it can produce millions of dollars. Here's the great difference between traditional franchise and relationship marketing. The great difference is when you pull through that McDonald's franchise window at 5 a.m. to get your coffee, and there's a person there that looks like they're about 6 years old standing on a milk crate. It's the owner's son. He's working there. The grandmother's flipping burgers in the back room. Mom's working 7 days a week. It's 100 hours a week. Ain't to faint. Okay, it's very different. We take what works in some of those industries and we implement that here in relationship marketing. So the whole theme of this real results rhythm is your personal rhythm plus the corporate rhythm equals the real results rhythm. When you get them both in sync, that's when magic starts to happen. We could interview every NMD here today, and I guarantee you they're going to repeat very similar steps that you're going to see right now, because I don't know how you would get to NMD without doing what we're about to show you. So let's go through our personal rhythm. Personal rhythm is defined by the activities that you can schedule and control in your Nerium business. So here's the great equalizer. You are the variable. You are the variable. What does that mean? It means what we do on a daily basis is really an indication of where we're going to go in this business. That personal rhythm is something that we can give you some tips. We can give you the roadmap. We can give you the tools. We can give the instruction. We can motivate. We can inspire. But we can't do it for you. All we can do is lead you to the system. So that personal rhythm is really what we call personal accountability. And we're going to have some tracking methods. David Bird's going to work a lot with the leadership. We're really going to lock in and engage moving out of here with that living a life of personal accountability in this business to get you really in sync with that personal rhythm. Give you some things that I've done. I mean, these are just fun little things. Greg, get your notebook out, okay? You know, I wanted to make sure I talked to 2 people every single day. Okay, my mentor said, Jeff Willis said, 2 people a day, 2 people a day, 2 people a day. Finally, I said, you know, I'm not having success. I need to talk to 2 people a day. I used to take 2 quarters, put them in my right pocket. This is while I was still in the Navy. And I wouldn't go home until they made it in my left pocket. Okay? Call it cheesy. Hey, you know what? We made millions of dollars in that last company by going, okay, I talked to one person, take my quarter from my right pocket, put it in my left pocket. I come home, Timmy like, show me your pockets. Okay. Right? We got so buried into this like rhythm and philosophy that sometimes I'd come home and Tammy would go, get out. Like, what do you mean get out? Go back to 7-Eleven. Go stand in front of 7-Eleven if that's what you have to do. Get those quarters out of your pocket. And I moved it from 2 a day to 3 a day to 4 a day. And that's not necessary. But if you want to go a little bit farther, a little bit faster, you kind of just increase the basics. That's all we did. So it's just that simple personal rhythm that will carry you through. When you have a personal rhythm that the masses can do, it's called game over in this industry. So it's not, here's your personal rhythm, here's your 15-page manual of what you need to do. You eat breakfast at 6 a.m. It's nothing like that. It's the little tiny thing. One of the keys in relationship marketing is finding 1 or 2 basic things that the masses can do. It's not finding 50 hard, technical, complicated things that you try to teach to a few people. It's 1 or 2 basic things. PPS, RRP, things like that, that the masses can do. That's why this company is just breaking all the records out there. And there's tons of folks. I've got folks that are friends of mine in other companies and within network marketing. What are you guys doing? When I tell them what we're doing, it's the same story. They're like, come on. Really, what are you doing? I mean, what do you have, a secret manual? You can't tell us what you're doing? I'm like, no, I mean, we hand out the bottle, and then we have parties, and you know, we read 10 pages of a good book, and they honestly, they don't believe you. How many people have met that where folks, it can't be that simple? Have you experienced that? It is that simple. See, human nature is we don't like simplicity because there's nothing to hide from. See, if it's complicated, we go, oh, it was complicated. That's why I failed. It's pretty hard to go, man, it was so simple and I blew it, right? People don't want to say that. They want to say, man, it was so hard, man, I don't have my PhD. So it needs to be simple, personal rhythm. Let's go through that, right through this personal rhythm. And I want you to all of these slides will be available. You guys heard of Slide Shark, right? Our new technology. Do you realize we're going to be able to pump every single thing that we do to that Slide Shark? So you'll have all the content you need to master anything that you're seeing here, okay? So personal rhythm. I don't know if my click, there we go. Okay, let's get into the personal rhythm. This is the tempo, this is the pulse. This is what we do every single day. This is what we breed into the organization. The first part of the personal rhythm is 2 a day. It's just a methodology that works. It's simple. It's something anyone can do. And here's the best part about it. It's all about third-party tools. We have the best tools in the industry, bar none. Bar none. How many people like the new video? Isn't that awesome? I'm going to tell you what. In my last company, I was known as the tool guy. Okay, people used to poke fun at me, like, here comes the tool guy. My brother-in-law's here. He's glad I'm not as much the tool guy anymore. I mean, I can't tell you how many SUVs Tammy and I have gone through because the shocks were broke because I loaded up with like 3 tons of tools and drive them from presentation to presentation. Why? Because I built my entire business, not on me, but on third-party credibility. What was my credibility? Broke Navy guy. Okay? Now, if you wanted someone to save your life, or you were in a medical crisis, I could help you with that. If you had a financial crisis, I know somewhere you can get a loan, okay? So I had to rely on third-party credibility. Third-party tools tell the story. For those of you that have been successful prior to your relationship here with Nerium International, you definitely want to pay attention to this, because this is the hardest thing. When someone shows up, man, I'm successful, I'm top in my sales, or I've owned 5 businesses, or I'm this and I'm that, or I'm a doctor, I'm an attorney, I'm a dentist. What ends up happening is they want to be the story. And here's the scary part about this. There's plenty of people in here that are good enough, that are talented enough, that connect with people that just, they've got it. They could sit down and sell anybody. The challenge is the person they sell may not be able to do the same. You know, I always poke fun on pastors, ministers, coaches. They're famous for this. Like, some of them just come in this industry and they just tear it up and they do incredibly well. A lot of them come into the industry and fail. Isn't that crazy? Why would a pastor, a minister, a coach, someone that knows how to organize, knows how to motivate, knows how to, kind of intertwine organizations, how could they fail? Here's the reason why. They use their influence and they don't use the system. Here's a perfect example. Pastor joins, pastor shows up, I am your pastor. Give me your credit card. $4.99 or $9.99. You either come in with a success pack or a premier pack. I'm your pastor. You trust me, right? Look, I'm going to show you the way to financial freedom. And the pastor brings in like 60 people their first month. And all of us have been there, right? You sit in that room, you're kind of mad a little bit. 60 people, I'm sick of that story. You're sitting there trying to get your first guy, right? Like, I got one. Like, this guy's just showing up in droves. They got a bus. The church bus pulls up. Woo! Nerium! Right? And it's just aggravating, right? Has anyone seen one of those guys or gals show up in your marketplace and you haven't seen them since? You want to know why? Because they used influence to bring all the people in, and then all those people were just average, everyday people like you and I that didn't have that pulpit or that coach or that high school principal or the football coach mentality, and we turned around and tried to do it to our friends. Give me your credit card. I am going to save you, right? And your friends are like, save me? How about you pay me back first and then we'll talk? See what happens there? And I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen. People of influence, people of success, they show up and they use their success to build a business. And the scary part is, and the dangerous part is, they do have success. Lots of them have quicker success than the person that's doing it the right way. It's person A, person B. I'm sure Jeff Olson is going to draw this out later. You can go down that path of the slight edge. You do a little bit every day over time, and bam, at some point you get that bent knee effect. But that same person that you might start with that doesn't read the 10 pages, doesn't show up to everything, kind of haphazardly builds their business, at first, both of those people are kind of going down a line, and they look the same, and it's frustrating. Because you're like, man, I'm doing everything right. I'm reading these books, man. I don't know if this slight edge thing's even worth anything, man. I don't know if this works. Look at this guy. He isn't doing anything right, and he already got the iPad. I haven't got the iPad. That can happen. Don't be fooled by that. Don't get distracted by that, because that will happen. That person, in their personal rhythm, at some point will break down. They will not be able to spin the plates and spin the plates and spin the plates, and that organization will not organically grow away from them. This is such an opposite business model than what most of us are used to. It's not about how good can I be here. It's how little can I be here. How much little of the system can I be? I want to be 1% of the system. I want to be 1% and just feeding that system with people rather than be the system. That's the difference. That's where the big money's made in this industry. So rely on the tools. We have the best of the best. Next part of your personal rhythm is a daily dose of personal development. I have to tell you that, when Jeff Olson came into Tammy and I's life, it changed our life forever. I don't think I finished one book in my entire life prior to joining network marketing. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you that. I just never did, and it was just, I'm not a reader, and I'm one of those guys where I got to read the book like 10 times and read the cliff notes and study the book to get it. Think and Grow Rich is a great example, right? I've read that like 20 times. Still haven't got it. I'll get it someday, though. I'm not going to quit. But personal development changed our life, because what happens sometimes in this industry is people will have quick success, and they have the possibility of making more money than they've ever made in their life. But if you haven't become the person what ends up happening is that income will go right back down to where you are at a personal development level. So if your personal development level is here and your income goes here, I've watched this for 11, 12 years, and all the networkers in the room that have been in this industry know, eventually that income turns around and goes chick, 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 comes right back to where you are on a personal development level. So, long time ago, Jeff Olson told me, he said, you get on a journey of personal development. You read so many books. You listen to so many tapes. You go to so many seminars. You never miss. You get a journal. You reread it and rewrite it and reread it and rewrite it, and you try to get your income to catch up with you. Think about that. Think about that concept. You personally develop so much that your income has to continue to run after you. Isn't that awesome? How fast do you want to personally develop? How many books do you want to read? How many seminars do you want to go to? Another big part of this business is becoming attractive. Now, it's kind of funny to say that because I don't mean on the outside, although we have the look better philosophy here. I'm saying become attractive on the inside, where people say, you know what? I don't know what that gal's involved with, but I want to go meet her. I don't know what that guy's doing, but there's just something in his step. There's something in that skip as he walks. There's something in this twinkle in his eye that he's on to something. I just got to go talk to him. I've met people like that in my life, and I'm sure you have too. Has anyone ever met that person that, there's two types of people. There's people that they walk in the room, they dim the lights. Ooh. Some of us have some family members like that maybe, right? So I mean, if the person's next to you, you don't have to look them and go. So it's always fun as a speaker, you go, man, I can't believe that guy just did that, right? But there's other people who come into your life that walk into the room and the lights seem to go up. You ever recognize people like that? It's just something about them. What is that? It's the way they carry themselves. It's that magnetic, and I truly believe in energy. I'm a big student of Napoleon Hill, someone that you're going to get to know for sure if you're reading the right books. Napoleon Hill talks about that energy. People can feel it. You know, if you're crummy inside, you're crummy outside, whether you can't fake it. If you're happy inside, you'll be glowing outside. And with Nerium, we got a double jeopardy, right? But you want to become magnetic. It's the little bit. 10 pages of a day, 10 pages of a good book a day. We're a personal development company with a skincare product attached to it, the way I look at it, guys. That's who we are. That's why we're attracting the people we're attracting right now, for sure. Okay, next part of your personal rhythm is engage in social media daily. Now, this is really new to me. I didn't build my business on the principles of social media. I'm still kind of getting it. I know Mary's back there. I'm going to get on Twitter at some point. I promise you, Mary, you're going to help me out. But engage in social media daily. I would recommend that you go to the company's fan page at least once a day and make a comment. You know, what are you doing today? What's happened in your life today? What's inspired you today? Maybe what book did you read today? Things like that, and just engage. Who on your team had success today? Maybe you just got your iPad. I mean, we own Facebook right now, guys. Anyone looked at Facebook in the past couple of days? There's people in foreign countries going, I wonder what Nerium is. Like, don't worry, you're going to know soon enough. They're on Facebook. They're trying to figure out what Nerium is. I had a guy from the Philippines recently inbox me, asking me about Nerium. I'm like, I don't know you. You don't know me. I've never been to the Philippines. I'm like, how did you find me? Facebook. Nerium is floating around everywhere. We're all connected by 6 degrees of separation. So we want to continue to own Facebook. We want to continue to have that presence on Facebook. And what I would encourage you to do right now as a little test, as a little sample, is take out your smartphone. Let's go to the Nerium fan page and let's go put something up. Just one comment, one picture, one quote of what inspired you thus far with the Nerium convention. Okay, let's just go do that as we go along. Just pop that on there. So as you can see, we've got that rhythm of engaging in personal in social media on a daily basis. Okay? Next part of the personal rhythm, we all know, we're going to get some training on this from NNDs in a little bit, is our product prospecting system. It's something that we're just doing all the time. And one of the things about the product prospecting system is once you get the Nerium Gives Back kicking in for you, this is just something that just becomes a natural, everyday type activity. So in that 2 days, some people have asked me, so does that mean that I have to product prospect 2 people a day? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means 2 people a day, you want to talk to them about the opportunity or the product, you're following up, you're re-exposing. So you might drop off a bottle today, you might bump into someone at Starbucks and give them a magazine. Tomorrow, you may hand someone a DVD and send them a video email from Nerium Communications. It's 2 exposures a day. Think about this for a second with product prospecting system. If you did this on a continual basis and your team did this on a continual basis, how many people would be experiencing the 5-day experience of Nerium? Think about that for a second. How many people are on your team? What if everybody on your team made a commitment and we won't even say it on a daily basis, that once a week they got that bottle in someone's hand, what would happen for your organization? Think about the magnitude of that. So product prospecting, so that's things we control. What's the personal rhythm? It's things that we can personally control. It's our personal activity. Next part of the system, of course, is real results parties. And I'm going to take a moment here to really reach out to some of the professional networkers in the room. We're all going to have this is Networkers Anonymous right now. So I want you guys to repeat after me. I promise, I solemnly swear that I will do in-home parties. In-home parties, right? There's networkers in here that have just really made some money in this industry, that have come into this business and they're like, oh, it's not happening for me as fast as it's happened for these folks that are walking the stage with their checks. Why? Because you're not doing real results parties. See, I'm probably a great example of someone that can probably talk about this. I'm probably the poster child for hotel meetings. You know, that's what I lived in. You go to a weekly meeting, you go to a weekly meeting, you go to a weekly meeting, you go to a meeting. What do you do the next day? You go to a weekly meeting, right? And it was just that cycle. This company has not been built on weekly meetings. And quite frankly, weekly meetings can get, boring. They can become tiresome. You know, that stuffy suit and tie guy with the gray suit and the suitcase, I'm going to my meeting, right? Who wants a second job? Who wants a second boss? Who wants to leave one meeting and go to another meeting? Okay. Now look, do we have some hotel meetings? Yeah, we definitely have some hotel meetings. And in markets that explode, that may become something that's necessary. But that's not how the company's been built. That's not how San Luis Obispo's been built. Sue's probably a great example of that. How did it get built? First of all, there was no hotel meeting ever. There was one party after another party after another party after another party. And they said, hey, let's bring everybody together. Let's bring Jeff Olson and we'll have a hotel-type meeting. Well, 400 plus people show up. That was the first meeting they ever did. Think about that for a second. Hawaii is another example with Steve Lee. He says all we got to do is party. But they take it to another level. Jeff and I, we just got back from Hawaii. We got there. The first regional had almost over 700 people. It had over 700 people at the first regional. The first hotel meeting had over 400 people at that first hotel meeting. How did we get all those people? Real results parties. Real results parties. They're fun. They're easy. They're duplicatable. Anybody can do them. There's 4 types. There's the real results party that a new brand partner is going to do. Okay? That's just in their home. They're inviting people that they feel comfortable inviting to their home. There's a market party where a couple brand partners get together. Maybe they're not in the same lineage. They just get together. They're working together. We want to see more of that. We want that cohesion. That we call it cross-line cohesion. And they do a market party. They get it at a restaurant. They get it at a Starbucks. They get it at an IHOP. There's no requirement. You don't have to go rent a professional room and have a professional speaker and get your best suit and tie. That's not what it's about. It's having fun, being at a restaurant, having a wine and cheese party in your local market, and pulling together a bunch of brand partners that are having fun. The third type is a 3-year free party. A 3-year free party is when you get together with your customer and you help them get their product for free. So if you think about it, you sign up a PC, right, a preferred customer, or you sign up a new brand partner. The new brand partner, we take them through what? What's the first thing we do to a new brand partner? New brand partner training, right? Launch plus connect equals success. What's the first thing you do with a customer? You book a 3-year free party. That's the first thing you do with a customer. So that's why it's one of them on there is a 3-year free party. You're not necessarily talking about the business. Maybe they weren't interested in the business. For whatever reason, maybe you didn't want to show them the business. And that's obviously your prerogative. But why not at least help them get their product for free? And last but not least, on Real Results Party is the Real Results Blitz. The Real Results Blitz, which we do from time to time. And I will tell you that on the 28th of this month, we're going to all get together as a company. We're going to do a blitz in sync as an entire company all across the United States, Guam, Puerto Rico. And we're going to have that blitz. It's going to be a rhythm. We're going to have a website up. You'll be able to send people to go look at where all the locations are at. There'll be some more information coming out about that. But that's that blitz. And I know, where's Rance? I know you're in here somewhere, Rance. Rance mastered this thing. These guys, El Paso, I went out there. I was blown away when I landed in El Paso. These guys rocked it. I mean, that presentation that Dennis and I did, man, they had round tables and a buffet going, man. We couldn't fit it. There was a couple hundred people in this thing. I mean, these guys got it down. Well, how did they get to that level of production? Blitzes. They sat at a coffee shop and said to their team, they said, hey, every 2 hours, we're going to be doing a Real Results presentation. Just keep inviting down and inviting down and inviting down. And what happens is you get a daily rhythm there. You bring someone in at 10 in the morning. They don't know anything about the industry. They barely know anything about Nerium. But guess what? They're excited. You want to strike while the iron's hot. Well, probably one of the most successful, business practices is getting that person, you almost confuse them from the norm. So instead of them going, well, let me study the molecule first and get back to you, and none of that. No, make your list, invite them down at 12 o'clock. What do I do at 12 o'clock? Expand the list, invite them down at 2 o'clock. So that blitz is hugely effective. Just look out for that in your Nerium communication, in your emails, and on the company call. We're going to be launching that on the 28th. So real results parties. When we look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we're all going to be able to say the foundation of the company, the foundational business movement has come out of real results parties. It's either you figure out how to party now or you'll figure out how to party later. But I know one thing, the folks that are partying and the ones that are on stage, you want to know who had the most real results parties? You saw them all last night walk with those big checks. How many people want to hit National Marketing Director in here? Is that everybody in here? Let me tell you, everybody on Facebook wants to hit National Marketing Director too. They just don't even know what it means yet. They're not even in Nerium yet. So personal rhythm, real results parties. The next part is what we call long-distance packages. Long-distance packages may be a new concept to some of you, not a new concept to some of you in here that have been around Jeff Olson for a while. Jeff Olson built an empire, a global empire, a team into the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. Matter of fact, Renee was just telling me one of the organizations they built in Germany, and we're talking like 20 plus years ago, that lady is still cashing the biggest check in that company from 20-something plus years ago from Renee and Jeff, from Jeff flying there, showing a VHS tape in German because he doesn't speak German, going, Think about that. How did he get that organization? Long-distance packages. It's a philosophy of sending something out of your backyard once a week. Guys, we've done this before, Tammy and I. This changed our business in the Navy. Couldn't really fly around, still active duty. I lived in Maryland at the time, and our company was growing, and leaders were flying all over the place. And Jeff Olson said, Mark, all you got to do, you can't take days off. You're in the military. I get it. All you've got to do is you get a long-distance package a week. You and Tammy. Just start with you and Tammy. Just get that long-distance package a week. Mail something, some kind of company tool outside of your backyard. The philosophy here is 80% of your business should be outside of your backyard within a year. Within a year. So Hawaii, think about this, right? That's good. So you're going to get on that outrigger canoe and start paddling now, right? But think about that, guys. 80% of your business needs to be outside of your backyard within your first year. How do you do that? Long-distance packages. There's two methodologies here. You can just bomb them all over the country. Well, where do I find people? It's people that you know. It's people you network with on Facebook. It's people that you know and you ask them, hey, do you know anyone in Texas? Right now, I would be asking everyone in your warm market, who do you know in Nashville? Who do you know in Southern California? Who do you know in Dallas? I'd be asking. I'd be following these bashes all around the country, follow the leader, and I would be bombing long-distance packages into these different marketplaces to plant a seed. That's what the system's about. That's the leverage. Think about what happens. Everything in this rhythm we're setting up, guys, is so when we go global, we already are doing it. We already have that rhythm. We already have it right. We launched 2 significant pieces this weekend that sync with the long-distance package program. We launched what? Sample packs and prospecting packs, right? How many people are just jacked about those sample packs, right? That's everybody in the audience, okay? I think it's genius. I know some of you got mad at first. You're like, man, what do you mean I got to mail it? What do you mean I can't just buy 500 of them and go to the mall and hand them out? Because that's not relationship marketing. Just blanket and carpet bombing the local parking lot's not the way to do it. I told you the mall cops will call you if you do that, right? But sending that package long distance from the company, what it does, it puts a security in there, a governor, if you would, so we don't mess up the product prospecting system, because that belly to belly, dropping the bottle off, having some conversation, picking the bottle up, there's 2 points of sale there, guys. You have 2 opportunities to sell because you're able to go back and get that bottle. That is why it's working. But the sample pack is going to allow us to get that long distance approach. So if we all make a commitment as a company to do 1 long distance package a week, first it starts with us. But you multiply this. Think about exponential growth. You're sitting in here today. You're a senior director. What would happen if you get in a rhythm of sending out 1 long-distance package a week, and then you get another person on your team to do it, and then you have 2 long-distance packages a week going out. Then you have 3, then you have 5, then you have 10, then you have 50, then you have 100. What would happen to your organization? You see that map right there on the board? That's what your organization will look like. You'll have packs flying everywhere, prospecting packs, sample packs, magazines, DVDs. They'll be flying all over the country, and bam, one lands on fertile ground. Bam, another one lands on fertile ground. Man, you got an NMD, you don't even know who they are, you don't even know their name. One of your other NMDs calls you up and says, man, we got this new person in Texas, they've exploded, they hit NMD in 90 days. You're like, I didn't even know we had a team in Texas. How did that happen? Oh, I sent one of those long distance things, those seeds they talked about, and it landed on fertile ground, and man, this person just went for it. That's what the long distance package program is about. Jeff Olson has conducted this program right here in every single company he's ever touched. And he built from New Mexico, right from his backyard, he built a global organization because he trained an entire organization to send out one long distance package a week in his organization that grew all over the world. And he blew people's mind. He had all the pros coming back. So Jeff, what are you doing? I don't get it. I mean, you're in New Mexico. How can you build a global organization of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people from New Mexico? And, how does that work? Well, our team, what we do is we mail one package a week out. And they're like, what? Come on. Is that a secret playbook? I mean, you can't tell us really what you're doing? These are the little things of mastering the mundane, that tempo. What do we say one of the things in network marketing is all about? Finding one or two simple things that the masses can do. That's why everyone can have success here, because it's not about talent. It's about you just plugging into a system and allowing the system to carry you through. So how many people in here, by a show of hands, can make a commitment to help take this company to the next level by sending out one long distance package a week? Is that everybody in here? Awesome. That didn't sound that serious. Let's try it one more time. How many people in here are going to get one long distance package a week out every single week? Okay, good, good. And you know how I know you're going to do it? Because David Bird is going to do that accountability with you, and he's going to help you track it, and he's going to help track your organization. Guys, we have an awesome system. You key in one of these long-distance packages, not only does I'll tell you what, guys. About 11 years ago, I can remember my wife licking stamps and filling out envelopes and stuffing envelopes with tools. You remember that, Danny? We had so many long-distance packages going. We had mail bins from the post office. You guys have done it, right? And it'd be ready. We had 100 of them already ready to go. Labor intensive. You know what? It would take like 30% of our, maybe 40% of our business building time, to lick stamps, stuff envelopes, put tools in there. Company's going to do it for us. You just simply go into your app or go into your website, you key in their information, and bam, they drop that long-distance package for you. And not only do they do that, they start firing autoresponder emails to follow up with your prospect. I mean, we've got the best system in the whole industry for long-distance packages. Okay, Nerium Unplugged. Every Wednesday night, how many people, by a show of hands, are plugging in to Nerium Unplugged? Kind of sounds like an oxymoron, right? Obviously not enough. Nerium Unplugged is really taking a life of its own. I mean, it really is. And the title is the perfect title for it, Unplugged. It's not rehearsed. It's not scripted. It's basically every Wednesday night. As you can see there, 8 p.m. Central, we all get on a call. It's a national marketing director that's leading that call, so it's a pro. It's someone that's done it, someone that's got the check. They've done all the right things. They've got the story. And what they do is they bring in all the stories. A product success story, an opportunity success story, an iPad success story, a Lexus success story, a mom and dad success story, husband and wife success story, a child success story. What it is, it's so real and it's so effective that when you put a guest on that thing, they're in. They're just in because it's different than what they're used to. They're typically used to that hard sales pitch, but they get in there and they hear, well, I'm kind of new and a little nervous to be on the call here today, but I got started a month ago, and I'm in the military, and I've never done anything like this before, and I got an iPad. And they forget everything else they were supposed to say, and they're like, I don't remember what else I got to say, and the NMD takes it back, and they go, well, hey, thanks, Jeff, I appreciate that, and the guest is on there going, huh? That guy got an iPad? He didn't even remember his lines on this call. They're probably never going to let him on the call again. It suits us, guys. We're about real. We're about right? Raw, authentic, transparent. That's what that call's about, is that Nerium Unplugged. So you want to dive into this. I'm going to tell you what we're about to do. We're about to ramp up Nerium Unplugged. We're going to add a second call, then a third call, then a fourth call, then a fifth call. We're going to go at some point to 7 days a week where you're just going to be able to plug in. Let me tell you, we'll eventually go not only 7 days a week, we'll eventually go 24 hours a day. I know that may sound crazy, but think about all the different time zones we're going to be in. Think of all the different countries we're going to be in when we go global. We're going to have things firing off all the time. So we get it right in the beginning. We get that system. We get that tempo. When we transfer into other languages, we'll have them in Spanish. We'll have them in Korean. We'll have them in Vietnamese. We'll have them in German. We're going to have them everywhere. So we get it right. We sync now, and we have success with it. So that's Nerium Unplugged. We're almost done with the personal rhythm. Training parties. This is something we really want to breed into the culture in a training party. Training party is all about just plugging into Nerium University. Nerium University is every single Monday night. And with Nerium University, we want to ask that you have a training party. So you're either watching Nerium University by yourself, okay, with your kids, your spouse, and you're having a pizza party with yourself, or maybe you have 5 friends over from your team. Maybe you have a couple people meet you at Starbucks, and you're watching it on your iPad. It's a training party. So we have real results parties to go out there and move volume, bring in new brand partners. We have training parties to train those folks in that same comfortable type setting. So not the typical weekly in-person hotel training. I don't know about you guys, but I'm busy. I've got 2 kids. I don't have time to go to all these meetings and all these trainings and all this formal stuff. But on the fly, I can pick up Nerium University. On the fly, I can go meet some friends. I can bring my kids to Starbucks. One thing that's happening in California right now is a lot of mommy and me things, right? It's just like a whole fleet of baby carriages around an iPad. That's why Nerium has a different approach. That's why we have this culture. People can be themselves. They don't have to be someone that they're not and show up with the fancy suit and pretend they're all happy to be there at yet another formal meeting, and everyone's all crusty and, has this, hey, Mr. Lave, how are you? I am Mr. Smith. It's like, great. You know what? My military career is behind me. What's going on, T? I want to be with the guys. I want to hang out. I want to be myself. I don't want to be in that box. And that's what we've done here is it's free flowing. It really is. It's kind of almost free spirited where you just go out there and you just have fun. Just be yourself. We don't have to overcomplicate that system. So training party is a big part of our culture. And last but not least, the roadmap to Lexus. The roadmap to Lexus is what the personal rhythm leads you through. So we know one of the foundational building blocks to national marketing director is you've got to go through the roadmap to Lexus. There's one thing I know about this. You cannot become a national marketing director in this company if you have not gone through the roadmap to Lexus. Think about that for a second. You cannot become a national marketing director unless you've gone through the roadmap to Lexus. You guys want to know what happens once you go through the roadmap on how to get to national marketing director? You just simply turn around and you help as many people as you possibly can go through the roadmap to Lexus. You pull people through that roadmap to Lexus, and somewhere around 12 to 15 people going through that roadmap is about what it takes to get to national marketing director. So it's just a discipline to learn. So the roadmap to Lexus is definitely something that has been very influential in what we all do. Okay, now I'm going to speed it up because I'm about to run out of time. I'm going to talk about the corporate rhythm. This is easy. Okay, corporate-related activities and events that you and your team plug into and leverage. So there's the real results rhythm. So guys, what is the real results rhythm? It is the personal rhythm plus the corporate rhythm is the real results rhythm. What is the real results rhythm? Is the real results rhythm, right? It's not personal rhythm plus personal rhythm is the real results rhythm, right? It's not corporate rhythm plus corporate rhythm is real results rhythm. You can't just get on a bunch of corporate calls and go, man, I'm in the rhythm. I'm happening. Because the bank account will look like that. You have to have both. When you sync both is where the magic starts to happen. So the first part of the corporate rhythm is new brand partner training. So from a corporate standpoint, it's getting all of the new brand partners through new brand partner training. Launch plus connect equals success. The second part of the corporate rhythm is the team Nerium calls. And you've heard this echoed through the stage over and over and over and over. This entire week has been one team, one drumbeat, that cohesion that makes it happen. Team Nerium basically is the field system, okay? It's not one individual's team. It's the entire field's organization. It's the platform where we all come together as one group and we engage in the system. And that system, Team Nerium calls, are every Sunday night, 8:45 Central. And what we do is we feature 2 national marketing directors, 2 different national marketing directors every single week on that Team Nerium flow. So maybe you might hear me train. You go, that guy's okay, but I didn't really mix with him. Just his tempo's off, or he talks too fast, or he doesn't speak English because he's from Boston. Whatever you want to say, right? But next week you might hear someone else. And you go, man, I got it. And it's funny, I could have said the same exact thing the week before, but you needed to hear it differently. You needed to hear it from someone different. You know, if you're a single mom getting on these calls and you've got some aggressive Navy guy and man, you need to do this because I'm aggressive. Okay, I have my style. You know, everyone has their own style. You might be like, man, this guy can't relate to me. He doesn't relate to me. I don't know if I can do what he's saying. I don't know if I can do it the way he's saying it. But guess what? It's only a matter of time before 1 week you hop on that call. There's another single mom in there. They got 5 kids. Like, man, I'm a single mom. I got 5 kids. I wasn't making it. I'm in Nerium. This is what I did. This is how I worked my schedule. This is how I worked my kids around my business. And bam, I'm a national marketer. And you go, bingo, that's who I needed to meet. That's who I needed to bond with. It's about connection. Okay, so the Team Nerium call every single week. Next part of the system is Nerium University. And Nerium University really is our delivery method as a company to deliver all of the key advanced content that we need to kind of put out there in the field. The first half of Nerium University is the basics. It's basically new brand partner training on steroids. It's live, it's interactive, you've got people that are on there that know what they're doing, and once again, we feature 1 to 2 national marketing directors every single week on Nerium University. We're about to pull in some of these national marketing directors. You haven't heard them on the call yet because they just made it. So we're about to really start to pull in some other talent into some of these calls. The second part of Nerium University is an 8-week modular system. This is key. Some people say, well, it's the same thing every week. Here's the one thing I know. When you go to Navy boot camp and you show up in October and they say, put your feet on the yellow, the yellow line here in March, they don't change it the next month. You don't go a year later and they go, oh, we got a different boot camp this week, man. Here's what we're going to do this week. We're going to teach you how to fish. No. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. You know why? Because you don't get it out of order. And I'm going to tell you what. You know who needs the new brand partner training more than anyone? All of us who aren't new. We need it more than anyone because as soon as you experience a little success in this business, sometimes you get off track or you get creative or you start to create your own systems. But when you're in a system where someone's reiterating the basics to you for 30 minutes every week, you know what we've done? We've thrown something in there to keep it lively, to keep you coming back. Is every week, the second half, we're going to change the topic. And it's methodical. It's not like we go, oh, this week let's just talk about the sun and the moon. No, it's the things that we know you need to get, the advanced topics. And we're about to reformat Nerium University, those back end. I know a lot of you how many people want to see that module on how to place in your organization, right? How to structure your team. So we're about to go ahead and kind of enhance some of the features there as well. So Nerium University is definitely something that you want to do. And also, Nerium University, it's a live approach. I intro the speaker every single week. What that allows me to do is to update everybody on corporate things, enhancements and promotions and events every single week. So it's just it's redundancy. Redundancy is the key, guys. Redundancy. What that means is we're going to repeat some of these things over and over and over and over and over. So in a week, you got a company email, you're on a Tuesday call, you heard it from Jeff Olson, you're on a Team Nerium call on Sunday night, you heard it maybe from Aaron and Jessica, you're on a Wednesday Unplugged and you heard a testimonial about something. When it all comes together, you heard it over and over and over and over, and you don't get it out of order. And that's why there's a lot of redundancies in our systems. Corporate update call every Tuesday. I'm going to tell you what, guys. Now, I used to say, hey, if you're full-time, you need to be on this call. I'm going to be bold enough to say, if you're in the company and you're serious and you really want to live the dream with us and travel the world and just have that crazy lifestyle, you've got to be on this call. But we obviously understand if you have a career and you can't be on at that time of the day, it's on replay. So there really isn't any excuse to miss any of this. Nerium U, it's on replay for an entire week till the next week. Team Nerium call, it's on a replay for the entire week to the next week. Corporate call, it's on replay for the entire week for the next week. Nerium Unplugged, it's on a replay for the whole week until the next week. So we've thought of everything so that the working family, the busy family, the folks that got 2, 3 kids, they're going in ballet, t-ball, taekwondo, you just fit this in. Put the kids to sleep, 10 at night, put the earpiece in, lay in bed with your notebook, your index cards. Don't let anything be your excuse. Just get the information. We're pushing it out and do it on your time. There's no boss. No one's your boss here. Just do it on your time, but get it done because a lot of these things are real time, okay? Next thing I'm going to talk about is the senior director call. The number's not on there because you have to be A senior director, okay? So this is where we're going to really start to teach leadership. We're about to reformat that call as well. David Bird is about to engage a lot more with this group. So we wanted to wait and kind of feel the rhythm and kind of see what our music was going to be and where David Bird's training really would be best utilized. Really feel it's here. So we're going to dip down into the senior director call. So the one-on-one coaching is going to come from the Elite Leadership Program, but the ongoing coaching for those that are not at RMD yet will be on the senior director call. It's every single Thursday. And if you're not a senior director, you won't know the time and the number and everything. It's not because we don't want you on there, but we want to be able to talk at a certain level that's really not for a new brand partner. It's for that person that's gone through the roadmap. Because until you've gone through the roadmap, you don't need to really know anything else. You really don't. What do I do? Go through the roadmap. What do I do next? Go through the roadmap. Well, I got one bottle out. Can I skip the roadmap? No, it's all about going through the roadmap. Once you do that, we'll enhance your leadership skills through the senior director call. So get with your national marketing director and they'll plug you in. Next, in the corporate rhythm is the Elite Leadership Program. The Elite Leadership Program, what is it about? It's about engaging with the professional performance and achievement coach. And I can tell you what, you've heard it all day long. David Bird rocks, guys. I mean, he will change your life with his system. He really will. I got to a point in my business where it's like the kids, the car, oil change, and grocery shopping, and business, and oh my goodness, this call and that call. I mean, look, I'll be transparent about it. Just running like a chicken with my head cut off. Until he said, you can have it all. That's one of the things he says a lot. You can have it all if you plan for it, if you manage yourself. You have to have a personal management system. I can just tell you guys, there's people that have just been waiting years to be in this program. I know Dale Munger is one of them. Been waiting years to be in this program that we had run in another company, and now it's a corporately sponsored program, and just another way of the company just spending more money on the belief of the future of this company with the Elite Leadership Program. Next part of the corporate rhythm is our Real Results Regionals. Right now, this is probably one of the key areas that we need to focus on as a company is we need more regionals. Regionals they don't need to be 300, 500, 1,000 people. They will be in some of the bigger markets. But markets that are just starting to kind of sprout, you might have a regional with 30 to 50 people. You might have a regional with 20 people. It's okay. And we're going to give you a templated Real Results Regional PowerPoint by the time we do our next RRR, Real Result Regional. And basically, we're having a format, once again, marching to the beat of the same drum. So rather than you send your team to a regional in Louisiana and they teach something you've never even heard about. Then you send someone else to California and they teach something different. Then you send someone to a regional in Boston and you don't even know whether you're in Nerium anymore. Because that happens. And the bigger the company grows and the more countries we open, the harder that will be to contain. So what we're going to do is we're working behind the scenes right now on a rock solid Real Results Regional template. And everyone will have access to it. So it'll be in SlideShark. You can pull it on your iPad. It's really going to be awesome. But really just asking for help right now from all the national marketing directors, all the leaders in the company. We really need more Real Results Regionals. Our goal as a company, by far, coming out of this convention, is to get about 50 cities going with Real Results Regionals. I want to also caution everyone, we don't need 10 regionals in a 20-minute radius. That's all we're looking for. So if we can get a regional going, there's something about the drive to that regional. There's something about when you get your team in that bus. Like Craig's famous for that. Get that bus, right? It's kind of that Nerium bus and drive down there. Let me tell you, it's probably one of the most connected groups. The folks that ride the bus are probably the most connected. The folks that pile in that car, and drive early to that regional, they got a 2.5-hour drive. They're stopping at Mickey D's. They're hanging out. They're joking around. Guess what? They all know each other's kids. They all know each other's spouses. They all know each other's goals, whys, and wants. It's the bond. So it's okay to have that distance because it's a once-a-month event, which is perfectly fine. Real Results Regional. And at the end of the day, why we do this, why we get in our personal rhythm, why we connect it to the corporate rhythm. What did we talk about earlier on yesterday? The only reason you have an event like this is to promote into the next event. That next huge event is Get Real Conference 2013. You want to get registered for that today. Get that convention price of $79. But it's how many people you're going to have there, how many people per leg in your organization will be there, accounting for it, managing it, pushing yourself, and setting those goals. But if you backtrack, like I'll kind of finish the corporate rhythm like we started yesterday. I talked about with Jeff when we were up here, is if your goal is to have 50 people on your team at the convention, 100 people on your team at the convention, guess what? You work your way backwards. If I was to go backwards through this entire presentation, that's how you show up 2013 with 100 people on your team in this room is by how many regionals did you go to? How many people on your team went to a regional? How many people in your team are in the rhythm? How many people are doing 2 a day? How many people are doing long distance packages? How many people are on Nerium University in your group? How many people on the Team Nerium call in your group? How many people are reading 10 pages of a good book every single day in your group? All of those elements brought together is what gets you to show up at 2013 with the amount of people that you want in your organization. How many people are already registered for 2013? By show of hands, okay? Not enough. How many people are going to register today for Get Real 2013? Awesome, awesome. This is what the rhythm looks like. We have a real results rhythm sheet. Going to go through it real quick. This kind of signifies what kind of acronyms. Everyone's taking pictures. We're going to give you this, guys, so don't worry. But this is the rhythm. This is what it looks like. 2 a day, personal development, social media, PPS, RRP, roadmap to Lexus, real results parties, training parties, Nerium University, long distance packages. Those are the things that we can control. That's the personal rhythm. This is our corporate rhythm. This is our training platform. This is the systems. This is how we duplicate ourselves and get leverage into our business by using that corporate rhythm. And when you add them together, what does it look like? It's the real results rhythm. It is what will separate this company from anything else out there. So really, really excited about that.